Welcome to episode 5 of my Affixing Tutorial Series for PSO2. Today we're going to be talking about S Augments. So to get started, what is an S Augment? Well, if we go and look at one of my weapons, say my Rivulet Soaring Blades, you'll see that we have two augments at the top, S for Escalating Pursuit and S5 Lightning Pursuit. Now normally, if you were to look at an ability such as Might 6, this one gives us plus 45 to melee, and most of these will contribute to other stats as well. Now, if we were to look at the S augments though, for instance the top one is Escalating Pursuit, you'll see that it doesn't give us any stats. Instead, it gives us a special effect. In this case, when I hit with a photon art or a technique, the damage done within a 4-second window determines the amount of follow-up damage added to the next photon art or technique. So instead of giving us stats, it's going to give us this special effect instead. And the same goes for Lightning Pursuit. Lightning Pursuit, when a photon art is used, it releases photons wrapped in lightning. And this is only for soaring blades. So while we're not going to be getting a bunch of stats out of these S augments, we are going to be getting very powerful effects from them. And in most cases, S augments are going to be better than just pure stats. Now the thing about S augments though is not every weapon can use S augments. And the ones that can use S augments can only use specific S augments. So how do you know if your weapon can use an S augment? Well, if you look at the abilities that I have on this one, you'll see that this one says S4 and this one says S5. That number is really important because if we go to the second page of this weapon, if you look in compatibility, you'll see that this weapon is compatible with S4 augments and S5 augments. If we go to a different weapon, such as the Serpent Blazes, you'll see that this one is compatible with S1, S2, and S3 augments. And if we look at the abilities I have on it, you'll see that I have an S1, an S2, and an S3 augment. And if we were to go up to, say, this other weapon here, you'll see that this one isn't compatible with any S augments. And that's because the only weapons that are compatible are usually going to be 13-star rarity or higher. Now, so I just showed you examples of S1 through S5. However, we also have S6, S7, and S8. And those are for the units. If we look at my back unit here, you'll see that the back unit is compatible with S6, the arms unit is compatible with S7, and the legs unit is compatible with S8. The only units that are compatible with S augments are going to be the 13-star units. And just like I pointed out, only back pieces can use S6, only arm pieces can use S7, and only leg pieces can use S8. Now, how do we get these S augments in the first place? Well, there's going to be a few different ways you can do this. For instance, if we go to the Rivulet Soaring Blades in my inventory and we confirm augment factor, you'll see that its special ability factor is S5 Lightning Pursuit. So some weapons are going to have S augments as their special ability factor. Now sometimes you'll get weapons that drop with S augments already on them. For instance, if we go into my inventory and we just search S1, click enter, we'll see that I have this Val Victo that has Shadow Gleam on it. It also has the S3 on it. We can go down another one. This one has Goliath, Slayer's Will. And we could do this for S1, S2 if we wanted. And we could do this for S3, and so on. Another way that you can get S augments onto a weapon is by using add affix items such as the ones right here. You can get these as drops, and you can also buy them from the personal shop as well as some of the exchanges in the shopping plaza. Once you have one of these items, you can go to affix augment, choose a weapon that's compatible with that S augment, choose some kind of fodder, click yes, and once you hit confirm, it'll ask you if you want to use that item. I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to select to also have the S augment that was already on it, and then I'm just going to fill this up with whatever I can. Oop, there we go. So I mentioned a moment ago that sometimes when you get weapons as drops, they will already have S augments on them. What I didn't explain though is how you get those S augments off of those weapons and onto the weapons that you want them on. For instance, let's say we have these two weapons are here. The Val Victo has S1 Lustrous Partbreaker and S3 Aggressive Will. Then this weapon only has S3 Aggressive Will. So what if we wanted to get S1 Lustrous Partbreaker onto this weapon? Well, when you go to the item lab, you'll see down here we have the option of Transfer S Grade Augment. When I choose this, I can select the weapon, and then once I select the other weapon that has the S1 I want, all of the S augments will be available here to choose from, as well as all the augments that were already on the base weapon. Now, one thing you might not have noticed is the other weapon had less augments than this one, so the number of augments that are on the weapons does not matter when you're using this function. So we're going to put Lustrous Partbreaker, Aggressive Will, and one of these abilities is going to be replaced by the S augment we're adding on, so we're just going to get rid of Casting 3. Then when you press OK, it's going to tell you that you're going to lose Casting 3, and now it's going to ask us to choose which abilities we want on the weapon we're transferring from. So since we're transferring over the S1, we're no longer going to have that as a choice, but we still have our S3 and the other abilities that were on the weapon. Click Confirm. Yes. And now it says this is going to cost us 120,000 Meseta, and on the right it's going to show us a preview of the abilities that are going to be on our weapons. If I press yes, it'll transfer over the ability and we'll be done. I'm not going to press yes though because I don't want to waste any Meseta. Now, one more thing that's really special about S augments is if we go to Affix Augment and we choose the Valvicto, and then we're going to choose this random Fodder weapon and click Confirm. First, we're going to select the two S augments that were already on it, and we are going to try and upslot this weapon. You'll notice that when we try to upslot it, our S augments are still at 100%. So if you're trying to upslot a weapon that's compatible with S augments, it's a good idea to put the S augments on first in order to increase your overall chances when upslotting. I also mentioned that you can get add augment items for S augments from some of the exchange shops in the shopping plaza. One of the places you can do this is the Rising Weapon Badge 5 shop. You'll see that we have a ton of add augments here, and one of the ones I showed off was S4 Escalating Pursuit. This one is the most expensive one in the Rising Weapon Badge shop and costs 600. Most of the augments in here cost 200 or 100 badges, with S5 Augment Bloom being the second most expensive. If we go to the Divide Metal Exchange, we can also get some S5 augments from here. So that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to say about S augments today. S augments are really powerful abilities, and knowing how to use S augments is also going to be useful for later topics as well. So I hope you learned something new from this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.